Hello, and welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent concerts and season stands alike. My name is Shannon, and I am joined, as always, by my bestest friend, Angelica. How are you today, Angelica?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of sweaty because it's hot outside, but I chose to wear a sweater. But I'm excited, as always, about K-pop.
Yay. This is our first episode we're recording since we've put the podcast out.
Yeah,
and people have heard it. So thanks to the people who've listened to it and are listening to it right now. And I also want to thank, because it wasn't ready last time, my lovely husband Wade for our amazing theme song.
Yes, thank you, Wade. Great job.
Yeah, he threw that together in an afternoon because he loves me. So, yeah. Today, we are going to be talking about groups, K-pop groups, and how they work.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, the breakdown of the members, right? Like all the different pieces in the group.
Exactly, because everybody has a role to fulfill in their group. And I guess we got to start at the very top, the most important, I guess, arguably the most important role in a group. And that is our first vocabulary word of the day, and that's leader.
Easy English word.
Yeah. Very simple. We know what the concept of a leader is, the person who's in charge. But what does being a leader mean in terms of a K-pop group? And I guess it's like the member who's basically responsible for everyone and the image of the group and all of those things.
They're usually the ones who do most of the talking, and they'll do like the introduction of the group, or if they're doing a group interview, a lot of times the questions are first directed toward the leaders. So they are kind of like the face of the group in a sense, not in the sense that like, they're
because
the
being
most
the
beautiful.
face,
That's something else.
That's a whole other thing.
We'll get into that. But they are the face in the sense that they're the mouthpiece of the group, I guess is the more accurate body part.
And they do have like a sense of responsibility over the rest of the group. I imagine if, another member got in trouble, the leader probably gets in trouble too.
Probably. Sort of like the oldest sibling of the family, like, well, why didn't you stop Timmy from eating paste? Like, exactly. You know better than that. So the leader is sort of like responsible for taking care of the other members in many different ways.
Yes. And the leader is often chosen, like you said, like the oldest sibling. So most of the time, the leader is the oldest member of the group.
Yes. And that's purely the only reason that they are the leader. It's not that they're like the most talented. They're not always the lead singer. It's just like they're the oldest. So boom, they're automatically the leader.
They have to be in charge. But not always. Like one example that we know for sure is in EXO, Suho got to be the leader, though he is not technically the oldest member. He did spend the longest time training. We talked about training last week. So the company decided that because he had the most experience, that it was only fair that like he be the one to be in charge.
Yes. And I think that we'll get into this more maybe in another episode, but it really comes down to like the idea of seniority within the culture of South Korea. This idea that like, first maybe it comes down to age, but then if your age differs from the amount of years of experience you've had, like with the case of Suho, then maybe even though he's not the youngest, he's been training for however many more years than the oldest member. He deserves to he is the most senior idol.
Right. And just some interesting examples that I found of interesting leader situations. The group Tiara has a rotating leader system. Where I guess they take turns being the leader so that everybody, I guess, gets a chance to feel that responsibility.
Interesting. Are they the same age? Like, did you find out why?
I didn't look into Tiara because, as was briefly mentioned in a previous episode, this group is like nothing but drama. Like as long as they have existed, there has been like a crazy amount of member changes and suing companies and suing each other and tours getting canceled and people getting in fights and like people saying, that's a lie, I never bullied her. It's legitimately insane. So I just saw like they have a rotating leader system and I was like, cool, good for y'all.
Maybe it's because of all the drama that they're like, we can't handle having one leader. Like all of you girls get to be the leader, so just stop complaining.
Right. And like, I guess it can be circumstantial. Like you were telling me after we were talking off podcast about 2PM.
Yes. So 2PM is an interesting group that now they only have 6 well, now it's debatable whether or not they're even still together. But currently they had 6 members and originally they had 7. We talked about, I think we've mentioned Jay Park a couple of times. He's now currently a solo artist. But after 2PM debuted, they debuted with 7 members. Jay Park was the oldest. He was the leader. And then he, for a variety of reasons.
We can get into it in our scandals and disbandments and contract disputes episode.
But so he left at a certain point, like went back to the U.S. and initially they saved his spot, right? Like they waited for him to sort of decide to come back. He eventually decided he wasn't going to come back, and the members decided together, like separately, they went and talked amongst themselves and decided that they wanted to continue without him, but that they were not going to elect a replacement leader. So they are a group, one of the only groups I know of, that doesn't have a leader at all.
Leaderless. Another leaderless group is a new group that debuted at the end of 2016, if my memory serves correctly. They are called KARD, K.A.R.D. And they're a co-ed group, which is a rare sight in K-pop. It happens like once a decade because it usually goes poorly. But they don't have a leader either.
Yes, and they only have 4 members. They have 2 girls and 2 guys.
And I assume that they don't have a leader probably just because it's too complicated. Like maybe it would be complicated, like age-wise or gender-wise. Like maybe one of the girls is oldest, and they were like, well, maybe the girl shouldn't be in charge, or like if the boys are in charge, maybe they'll see me. Like I have no idea, but I assume they just decided it was complicated and not to give them a leader.
Maybe. But I do think that group, and I'm sure this happens with like 2PM, and it happens with any group really. They're like certain members sort of take on the like parental role or whatever within the group, because these groups, as we've mentioned before, I think they live together. And so they really do become very familial, like a little family. And so it's just sort of naturally, as with any friend group, really, there's always like a mom and a dad of the group or whatever. So,
and leaders are almost always that role for people. Like in really literal senses, like I remember when Red Velvet, when their youngest member, Gary, was still in high school, the leader, Irene, would like iron her school uniform, like mom stuff. And
like make sure that she did her homework and stuff like that.
Yeah. So leaders, that's like that's the first role that like most groups have, and it kind of has nothing to do with your role on stage.
Right.
It's definitely more of a like off stage group dynamic thing, but it's important and they all have it. But then these other things that we'll get into right now are performance based, like where you fall in the group. And the general like 5-ish categories that people can be are vocalists. And there's like I did so much research trying to figure out how people decide what these. So let's just start with vocalists. Every group, you look at their member profiles and they will have, this person is the main vocalist and this person is the lead vocalist and this person is the sub vocalist. And you're like, what? Like trying to like,
what is the difference between main vocalist and lead vocalist? Like these are synonyms.
Right. One website was trying to argue that like the main vocalist is the person who probably has the most lines, like percentage wise, but the lead vocalist usually sings the chorus or like starts the chorus, like that they're leading the song. It seems like it's all just a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
bullshit?
Yeah, that is the word I was looking for, but I was trying to find like a fancier word. But, you know, just ways to keep
facade.
Yeah, ways to keep fans happy, to be like, because equal line distribution is always a problem in groups, no matter how many members they have. Like, people are always going to feel like their favorite isn't getting enough time. So it seems like being like, he's the lead vocalist, but he's the main vocalist is just to make people happy. But basically that means that member is probably singing the majority of the time. Their singing voice is their main talent, their strongest thing. Then you'll have rappers. Now, I tried so hard to Google and try to figure out when, why, where this whole every K-pop group needs a rapper thing started. And I couldn't find any like concrete evidence, no like press release from a company that was like, we're doing this rapper. Like it just is a thing that happened around the second generation of K-pop, which is like 2006-ish and on. And it like just became a thing that everybody did. You just, maybe your member who is like vocally the weakest or has a very interesting voice, you make them the rapper. And then every song has like at least one little rap breakdown in it. Sometimes it does not need to be there in any way, and it feels very
and
forced.
sometimes it feels like it ruins the song, or like it just feels like such a departure from what the rest of the song was that you're like, am I now listening to a completely different track? But getting into maybe like why there is a rapper, I wonder if the correlation of like, I wonder what the correlation is between the American pop music and the K-pop stylings is, like if you were to sort of do an analysis of the two, because there is definitely a significant point, like a turning point in American Top 40 where hip hop started to become much more influential in Top 40, whether that was just because of the bass lines, like sort of the more hip hop beats behind the song, or even just like now there's a collaboration with a rapper, you know, like, and so you're like singing
like
a song.
all those J-Lo, Ja Rule things that were happening for a while.
Ashanti, Ja Rule.
J-Lo did one too. Ja Rule was doing songs with everybody in the early
come on,
2000s.
like
I'm sorry.
the pair,
Yes,
the
yes,
iconic
yes.
Ja Rule pairing is Ashanti.
You're true. You're true.
Yeah, but that or like, you know, like what was it? That Dark Horse Katy Perry song, whatever, that has that rant. I don't know who the rapper is on that song. I need to stop using Katy Perry as my pop references, but
There are others.
but whatever. It's really popular that like
Yes.
that hip hop beat started to become much more prevalent in American Top 40, and so I wonder what kind of correlation that had with it, because we've mentioned before that we think like the early 90s, 2000s pop here in America definitely had a big influence in the development of K-pop in general.
So yeah, it must have definitely. If anybody knows more than us, always tell us. But yeah, I wonder if it was just something like it seemed like a cool new thing to market. It seemed like a good way to use your member that's like maybe slightly tone deaf and you're having trouble with them. Like,
that's what I was
teach
going
them
to
to
say.
rap.
Yeah, like you have this hot one that like doesn't really do anything else because you pulled them off the street and you just wanted them to be pretty. Make them rap.
Yeah. And sometimes it's really good and fun. And I bet that if my Korean was better, I would appreciate rap breaks more because I'm sure some of them are clever. Maybe some of them are real dumb. Like, I'm not sure, but.
Shorty, I'm a potty till the sun down.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that.
They're not all winners.
They're not winners. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the rapper, the inexplicable rapper.
The
and I hope
inexplicable
that,
but ever-present
ever-present rapper. So, yeah, now that we've told you about this, I hope when you're listening to K-pop, it will make a little more sense when just suddenly somebody's just got to put a rap break in.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, that's the rappers. We've got leaders, vocalists, we've got rappers. Then you get your dancers, your lead dancer.
Yep.
This person, in most groups, most of the time, the lead dancer is probably singing too. Like
they all sing. Like even the rapper is going to help sing the chorus.
Right.
But it's like your main responsibility.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're only going to dance. It just means if there's a dance break or something, like you're going to be in the middle.
Or for the chorus, the like big move of the chorus, you're probably at the point of the triangle.
Right, that's what I mean. Or like on your big stadium shows or whatever for your solo piece, like maybe you're going to do a dance, like instead of singing a song or something like that. You'll get like a dance solo at some point.
So most groups that are like choreography heavy, definitely,
which are most
groups have a main dancer or a couple of main dancers. That's another role that you can fulfill. And then these last two, I truly can't really tell the difference between them, and they seem like they're barely roles, which is the visual and the face, which in some groups is a different thing.
Oh, I was just going to say those are different things.
Right.
Honestly, it's my favorite part about it is the idea that someone is like your role is to be pretty.
You're the pretty one.
You're the pretty one. Like you're the visual of the group, and it's my favorite thing because like what a dream job. You know what I mean? Like, you get to be in this pop band and you just get to be the pretty one. It's like the Posh Spice of the group,
Yes,
you know? Like,
exactly.
You're the one that is like, you just get to choose between your little black dresses and like go on stage and maybe sing along with the chorus if you can.
Yeah, be the pretty one. Or sometimes like if the concept of the music video, you know, maybe it has a storyline, like one that's coming to mind right now, like all of our references are the things that we love. But there's like a Shiny video, I think it's one of their Japanese videos, where like the main story is that Mino is tracing a girl through like a train station and the other members aren't there. The other members are like in the studio doing the dance or whatever, but he's like the main character of the video because he's the visual of Shiny. He's the rapper, but he's also the visual.
I thought like, Key was the visual.
Key says that he's the visual. That's the thing. That's the other crazy thing is that when I was doing research, I was trying to find like, is there an example out there of a group that's like, we have 5 members, we have one of each. And it's kind of not a thing. You look up anybody and it's like, he's the lead dancer and he's the face and this is the leader and the main dancer. Like,
yeah. I mean, Shiny is a good example of that because you would argue that like Taemin is, I think, officially the lead dancer.
Yes.
He is truly like the greatest dancer of them, although they're all wonderful. But when you listen to their songs, he's a lead vocalist
according to their
for
member
sure.
profiles.
Like he is definitely there. He is, you know, their youngest member, which we'll get into in just a minute. But he's also the lead dancer. And when you listen to their songs, like he really does have many lines, if not like most.
Yeah. So it's like it's a multifaceted thing. It's a way to like sort of categorize members, or I assume it works for the choreographers or the songwriters when they're putting stuff together to be like, okay, so where does everybody need to go?
I'm sure it also helps sort of establish group dynamics within the group because as we mentioned in the previous episode where we talked about training, these idols get together when they're very young. And so like they are growing up through their teenage years, difficult time for all of us. And they have to like come together and be professional and work with these other teenagers and like in a very stressful environment. So I'm sure it's really helpful to be like, you are this, you are this, you are this. Like you each get a part, no bickering, no complaining, like just get your shit done.
Yeah, it gives you something to like focus on.
Yeah.
And I was really curious, like how, because I tend just for my own sanity not to get into groups that have huge amounts of members.
With the exception of EXO.
Right. Just because it's a lot. Like I was going to say, like there's so much K-pop that I listen to. Like I feel like I listen to a really broad spectrum of K-pop music. But as for me, when you really decide to like get into a group is when you decide to learn all of their names.
True.
Like to me, that's like a step like towards fandom.
As an
like,
international fan.
yeah, like I'm going to learn all of their names now. So I don't technically love huge groups because it's a lot to know.
It is.
But I wanted to know how all of this categorization works in a group that has a crazy amount of members.
And I got you, girl. I know how that works. Yes. Because I fell down that EXO rabbit hole and now I know everything about them.
Right.
So it works by doing lines.
Yes.
So you are not just the lead dancer. You are part of the dance line. You are part of the vocal line.
Right.
The rap line. So EXO is really easy because they have 9 members. Yes, you heard me correct. They have 9. So they have 9 members, and basically what they do is they split it 3, 3, and 3. 3 members are the dance team, and that's Sehun, Lay, and Kai. And then there's 3 members that are the rap line. And this actually gets a little bit tricky because Sehun is technically part of the rap line as well.
Yeah.
So he is part of the rap line, and then there's Chanyeol and Xiumin is also part of the rap line. And then there's the vocal line, which has Baek, Chen, and Dio. And then Suho is the leader. So he's technically not part of any of the lines because he is just the leader. But he is unofficially like part of the vocal line. Like that's his main deal. He shares a lot of the main singing lines.
Yeah. Well, that's great because I went to 17 to try to figure out how they do this because this is a group with 13 members.
Yes.
Which is even more than 9. And I was just curious like how they do it. And they basically, have like 7 vocalists and 3 rappers, but their leader, I love this guy's name. It makes me so happy. Their leader's name is S-Coops.
S-Coops?
S.Coups. So maybe it's Scoops, maybe it's S-Scoops.
Scoops. Oh my God, I hope it's Scoops. I wonder if S-Scoops. That sounds like a weird like Spanish word, like estop.
S-Scoops. Yeah.
Can I get a scoop of ice cream?
Exactly. So he's the leader. He's the leader. And then there's a guy, Hoshi, and he's the performance team leader. And then Woozy is the vocal team leader. So they have like 3-ish leaders to keep all 13 of them in check, I guess.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go past 9 members.
Yeah, you gotta
more than one
get
leader.
a little complicated after that. So, and then the very last role in a group that is decided not by the company, but by fate. And that role is the maknae.
Yes.
Or if you want to say it all American, maknae.
Yes.
Which is a Korean word for youngest person.
So we mentioned how the leader is usually the oldest. There is always inevitably a youngest member, and that person is the maknae.
Yes, and we talked about doing like an entire episode explaining like Korean social hierarchy in regards of communication, but it will probably be boring.
Yeah,
and who wants to listen to a Korean lesson from a girl who speaks Korean like a kindergartner? Like it's probably not fair.
We're not Korean, so we didn't really want to get into it.
But basically all you need to know is that there are essentially like 3 forms of speech in Korean: super formal, regular formal, and casual. And you do not ever use casual speech with anyone who is older than you unless they have explicitly given you permission to do so. So your age matters when it comes to like interacting with other people. So being the baby of the group is always going to matter.
It's going to really influence the way that you are treated by other members, the way that you have to treat the other members. And it's really going to influence as well, like your responsibilities within the group, like the things that you may have to do. I would guess that
you probably don't get first choice of seat in the van.
Oh, no, you don't get first choice in anything, probably, is what I would guess, until you've been together for a really long time and you can, like, play rock, paper, scissors or something. But I would say that you also, like, when you go on variety shows, probably have to do the silliest things because if someone's asked to, like, play a silly game or make a silly face, like, all of the members could just be like, you do it. And as the youngest, you kind of have to because it's like, again, kind of like a sibling hierarchy of like, you do what your older brother tells you to do.
Right. But also in the same way that like being the youngest of the family may mean that you get picked on a lot, it also means that everybody kind of loves you best.
Yeah,
like,
and
you still
get
get to be the baby.
So. Again, to use a Spice Girl reference, like now you're the baby Spice.
Yeah.
You know, like they're a good representation of like
the standard format.
You've got Ginger Spice is your leader, right? She's going to talk the most. She's going to tell you all about girl power. You've got Baby Spice who's going to be cute. Posh Spice is the visual. She's just going to smile.
Scary's the rapper.
Sporty's the main vocalist.
Wow, yeah.
Boom.
That's perfect. That was a very good allegory. Good job.
Thanks, Spice Girls, helping us out once again.
What else about maknaes? I feel like it's just like a really interesting thing that like gets put on every single group. Like, and I think there's like then different types of like maknaes. And one that like is very popular is like the savage maknae. Like, the one who's just like constantly giving everyone else like shit all the time and being like, and using their like baby brother, baby sister status to just kind of like call people out or like be very teasing. And then some of them are all just like sweet babies and everyone's like, oh, or, like, I don't know.
Some of them are very like, it's funny, some of them are very innocent or naive, which always in hijinks, whatever, makes it very funny. Some of them are just like sweet and will sort of like do whatever they're told. I mean, obviously it depends on the personality of the person themselves, but I think it's important to know the like dynamics of a group if you're going to get into K-pop, not necessarily just to enjoy the music, but if you start to really get into like, I want to watch a variety show that they're on, or like I want to watch interviews and I want to go past just the performance level of this group and really get to know them, you're going to need to know what their role is, because it's really going to dictate the dynamics within that interview or that variety show.
Definitely. And it's not quite a vocabulary word, maybe more like a Google tip. If you like find a group that you enjoy and you're like, I would like to find out who is who in this group. The term that's best to use for Googling is member profile.
Yes.
There are several websites that like compile these where you can look at each member, their birthday, what role they have in the group, some fun facts about them, whatever. So member profile is what's best to Google for that stuff.
So when you find that group that you decide, hey, I want to learn all their names, Google their member profiles, and you'll see their names. You'll see them written in Korean. You'll learn their blood type. So there's like it's kind of like a zodiac sign kind of would be the best analogy, I guess, for like why they include the blood type. It's like certain personalities are attributed to certain blood types, which I always think is funny because like I don't even know my own blood type, but now I know certain idol blood types. Like why?
Anecdote story time. I was hanging out with our dance teacher. Surprise, we were in a K-pop dance group. They said surprising absolutely no one.
Yeah. But I guess we hadn't mentioned
it before.
Maybe we did. I don't know.
That's a thing we do. It'll come up again. But I was out drinking with our dance teacher and she asked me what my blood type was because she wanted to like know and analyze me in that like Korean culture way. And I texted my mother so innocently, like, hey, what's my blood type? And she panicked, thinking I was in the emergency room.
Thinking you're in the doctor's office.
And I was like, oh, nope, sorry about that. I was just trying to get my personality analyzed by my blood type. But yeah, that's how to like deduce what a group is all made out of.
Yeah, that's the breakdown, y'all. Now you know.
And do you I guess this is sort of on topic. Like if somebody's listening and they watched a music video for something that they enjoyed and now they want to find out about this group, what are some things that you can find like on YouTube to get to know the members of a group, like personality wise, as opposed to their like stage music video personas?
I would say that the best way to learn about a member's personality is to watch them on a variety show. And I would say that our favorites to recommend would be Weekly Idol.
Yes.
Weekly Idol is a good one to watch because a lot of it has English subtitles on YouTube. And so that's a really fun show where there's like two hosts and then the members will come on, the group comes on and they do they play games and they perform a little bit and they do like a quick interview. That's really fun to see their personalities because it's a very laid back show.
Yeah.
I think Knowing Brothers is probably also a good example, even though we don't love all of the hosts on that show.
Yeah.
Knowing Brothers is a show where, actually this is a good thing to bring up because we're talking about seniority and the different types of speech. So Knowing Brothers is a show where the concept is that you are in high school. So like all of the the groups are coming on, they're in school uniforms. The hosts of the show, who are like all grown men.
All like men in their 40s.
40-year-old men plus like a super junior. They're all there in their school uniforms. And the reason that they do it that way is so that the members can use informal speech. So it's like a
casual environment and you can get a lot of like shit out of people. They like tell stories they shouldn't be telling on
secrets,
TV.
And they play funny games. And like that's really fun because the formality of the language and the interactions is dropped on that show.
That show is available on Netflix US under the title Men on a Mission. But I will warn you now that it's probably best to just find it on the internet because Netflix could not get the rights to any music. So if there were any performances, they either put like weird, cheap music on top of it, or they just cut it out entirely. So just a warning for Knowing Brothers / Men on a Mission.
But there are many episodes of Knowing Brothers that have English subs that are available on YouTube. So you can find some.
Yeah.
You just probably wouldn't be able to watch like all of it. But I know like EXO's episode is on YouTube, SHINee's episode's on YouTube, Blackpink's episode is on YouTube. Like there's a lot out there.
I was saying to Anelka the other night that getting into K-pop has gotten me really good at Googling.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that you will learn is how to find stuff. Another thing that's like not that many groups have done it. I think only like 7 groups have done it. But there's a documentary series called Showtime that you can also try to find. They usually like follow a group around for a little while and you get to spend a lot of time with them. Old school stuff that isn't really on anymore. There used to be a show called Strongheart that was really good for getting to know members of stuff. Star Golden Bell as well. Those shows have
Hello
since-
Baby.
Oh, Hello Baby is a great show that, again, only got a couple of seasons with a couple of groups, but they basically would give a child to an idol group and be like, raise it.
They did not get to clarify.
They didn't like really leave them with
Like
the kid.
the
It was like they
parent
borrowed
is
a kid.
always on set. Like anytime the child is there, there is always the parent on set. That's very clear. The child does not like live with the members. You know, like they go, like maybe they go to their house, but the parent's always there, and they're not like doing weird unsupervised visits or whatever. It's just sort of a like, haha, here are all these kids, and now you have to like take care of a kid. Like, what hijinks will ensue? And like, inevitably, adorable things happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I could seriously talk about variety shows all day, and we can definitely
We'll do an
another
entire episode about those.
But we got to move on to a new segment. We're doing a new segment, and I'm really
Dun, dun,
excited
dun,
about
dun.
it. I don't know what to call it yet. It probably deserves like a name and a theme song, but we'll get there.
We'll put that on the back burner. If you guys get inspired by this game and think of a punny name, send it over to us. Let us know.
So basically,
you
the
credit.
way that this game is going to work. So we said in the first episode, the intention of this podcast was to be educational. And we know a lot and are happy to educate the listeners about the things that we know. There's plenty of stuff that we don't know. So the intention of this new game is to get more K-pop on the podcast, because we're talking about things in like broad general terms. And I want to be showcasing the K-pop as
Yes.
well. And also, we can learn about new groups or tell you about groups we already love. So I have made a spreadsheet of every K-pop group that has debuted since 1992 that has a Wikipedia page. There are probably hundreds of others that like failed and aren't enough to write a wiki about. So I did at least ones that will have something to talk about. And then we will randomly choose one. And we'll see what we can find out about that group, and we'll watch their most popular music video and talk about it.
Great.
I think it will be fun. So, Angelica, would you like to either choose the first member? Would you like to choose the first number, or should I do the Google random number picker and leave it up to a computer?
Let's just make it random. Like this is K-pop random play, random pick. I don't know. We'll work that into the title once we come up with one.
Okay.
Just let Google do the work.
All right. Get my number generator going here. And
The winner is
very first group that we're going to talk about is DIA
never heard of
or
them.
Dia. Not sure.
How is
We'll
it
find
spelled?
out. DIA.
Oh, but like
there's
all
no
capitals?
But it's all capitals, but there's no periods between
Okay.
them. So can't be sure.
So unclear pronunciation.
They debuted in 2015.
DIA. Oops, Defense Intelligence Agency. That's not what we wanted, Google.
Google.
Come on.
All right, what do we got? Okay, we got a girl. It's a girl group.
Okay, girl group. Looks like there's a lot of people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 9. 9
got
people.
9.
2015 to present. They're still around. Okie dokie.
Okay, so DIA is shortened from Diamond, or is an acronym for Do It Amazing.
Alrighty.
Love it.
Oh, Associated Acts, IOI. Okay, so we've talked about IOI before in a previous episode. IOI is a group that came out of a reality show, and then the members like split.
So it looks like.
Oh, Tiara's little sister girl group.
Okay.
Man, we got to learn something about Tiara. They keep popping
They come up
for
all
us.
the time. So let's see. February 2015, MBK Entertainment debuted a new girl group.
I think we should just jump into a video.
Yeah, let's see what-
it's
let's
not
see what they're
interesting to
about.
listen to someone read Wikipedia.
That's true. It's not interesting. But I do see this just caught my eye. So it says that 2 of the members left to do Produce 101.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. So here's another Google tip. If you're ever looking for K-pop music videos or you want to see a group's music video, just type in their name and then MV because they always shorten it in the title to MV so that you know it's a music video.
So we are going to choose the most viewed. Like we're just going to go purely by view count. And it looks like it's this one, On the Road.
On the Road.
Okay.
All right, let's see how it goes. Okay, we got Sunny Day. Oh, it looks like a commercial
Yep.
for like wine. They're like in a field. Oh, is that the girl from Drinking Solo?
I thought she was from. Nope, you're right.
That
It
is her.
It is. So we recognize one of these faces from a TV show we watched. Oh, it looks like the girls are burying a time capsule.
Yeah, they have a treasure chest.
There's only 7 members in this video. Here we go.
Sparkly.
Looks like it's going to be very bubblegum.
Okay. Panning down from the sky. Here we go.
Oh, adorable already. Holy shit. Okay, immediately starting with a dance break.
They're in little plaid skirts and white tops. They look innocent and fresh. That also looks like that maze island that they go to at the end of My Love from Another Star. You know that like
Oh, yeah.
right? It looks like that place. There's like hedge mazes behind them and it's very beautiful.
And like a sidewalk that ends in the ocean.
There's a boy putting a Band-Aid on one.
They won't show us his face. Oh, this is fucking precious.
Oh no, they're having a sleepover. Yeah, this is just like nice, pure girl group stuff.
I love when K-pop videos have rotary phones in them, as though people still use rotary phones. Like, it's very common.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Old cameras, old phones, like kitschy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now they look like they're on a golf course and they're in like
Changed
cheerleading
into their
tennis.
golf costumes.
The faceless boy is still faceless. They really won't show
They'll
him.
only show the back of his head. Rap break. Here we go.
So there you go. Classic.
Oh,
K-pop.
he's shirtless? I saw that shirt on
Yeah,
the
they
rock.
just showed us the shirt. Where's the
Where's
boy?
the boy? Smelling the shirt. Where'd he go? Maybe this is like a goblin-style concept where he's a magical creature and he disappears. And that's why
we sort of saw his face out of focus for a second.
We need to know what year this music video came. Like, is this their
This is
debut?
from 2016 and it's from their second album.
All right.
Also, I'm looking at the Korean here and it looks like their name is pronounced Da-ia. Daya. So like diamond.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It's so common, and I know this happens with like American pop groups as well, but I honestly find it weird when a multi-member group has only one boy or one girl of interest in the music video. Like, really all 7 of us are going to share this faceless dude? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I know that there's a ton of trainees available to be in this music video. Like, you could easily get a boy for each one of these cute girls.
And like sometimes it works in the plot, like in our favorite 2 p.m. video, it seems like they're all dating the same girl because she's a bad person. But in others, it's like they're all just trying to woo the same girl.
Just like in the music video that we watched. We watched the debut stage of Replay. But in the music video of Replay,
they're all chasing
the same girl. So
yeah. Okay.
Well, that was cute. Fun.
Daya. Cute. So yeah, we just learned about a new girl group. They seem to be, there's still a thing.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Why does it say YOLO? Why does it say YOLO as a title of one
because they did a Japan reality show called...
Oh, they have a studio album named YOLO.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I'm so upset. Oh, that's upsetting to me.
Okay. I also am seeing on this Wikipedia page that somebody might be on the unit now.
Oh,
God.
Heartbreak. They'd also said
because look at this like member timeline. It's like this person was in it and then they dropped out and then they added this member.
So maybe officially now they do only have 7 members.
Yeah, there's been some change in this group for sure.
It's always tricky when you have big groups. I mean, we talk about EXO a lot, but like that's a good example of how they started with 12 and then they went down to 10 and then they went down to 9 and now currently they're making music with just 8 of them, but like officially the ninth is still there. Like, who knows? Ugh. It's hard when you start getting into these big groups to like actually keep the original members.
Right. Yeah. So there's always a lot to learn and there's a lot of history for everybody. So that was our first random
K-pop random play. Woohoo!
All right.
Tentative name.
So I think that's it for episode 3.
But
we did it. Yeah. So I have a couple. So I want you to go first so that I can decide which one of mine I want to use.
My recommendation is one that we're kind of going to get into in the next episode, which will be about like group concepts and styles. So this is a really interesting like conglomerate of groups, I guess.
Oh boy. This is like homework.
Yeah, so I'm talking about NCT.
Oh boy.
My recommendation is the song Seventh Sense by NCT U. It is NCT, no spaces, and then just the letter U. The music video is really cool and it's a really interesting song. It's very different from like stereotypical K-pop.
It absolutely like shook the K-pop world when that song came out because no one had ever made anything that sounded
really
like
cool. It has, definitely drawing from like hip hop inspired beats. The dance is really interesting. The boys are very talented, but NCT is interesting because we'll talk about it a little bit more in the next episode. So your homework for today is to go home, watch NCTU Seventh Sense, and then Google them because read their Wikipedia page because they're complex and strange. And we'll talk about them in the next week's episode.
Good recommendation. I think I'm going to make mine just because I've been thinking about it all week because I'm very sore from the dance that we've been doing in class and I'm like constantly in awe of idols and the things that they are capable of. So one of those things that is like awe-inspiring to me would be Red Velvet doing their Dum Dum dance on Weekly Idol at 2 times speed.
Yes.
This is a dance that knocked the wind out of our dance teacher, who is the most fit person I've ever known.
She used to be a champion bodybuilder in South Korea and like has a 3-year-old daughter, but also still retains her 6-pack.
Yeah.
So like if a dance tires her out,
then it's really serious.
Then I don't want to try it.
And this is a video of Red Velvet doing that dance faster than it's supposed to be.
Twice as fast as it's actually supposed to be.
People argue about whether or not they actually put things at 2 times speed or if it's like 1.7, but it's faster
Regardless.
is the point. And they're doing it like they're squealing and screaming the whole time, but they're also smiling and they just like
and
do
not
it.
missing a move.
There is one crash at the end, but they pretty much pull it out and it's
forgivable.
It's amazing and it will give you a shot to look at some Weekly Idol like we mentioned earlier in the episode. So that's my recommendation.
And we will, of course, have links for these. If you're just going to go for it and try to Google it, you would need to type in Weekly Idol Red Velvet 2 times.
Yes.
2x, and it'll come up.
Yeah. But yeah, as always, links are on our website, which is amakpoppod.tumblr.com. You can tweet at us at amakpoppod, or if you want to send us an email, if you have questions or comments or anything, please.
Or recommendations.
Yeah, send us an email, amakpoppod@gmail.com. And we will be back next week talking about group concepts. And we'll see y'all then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jonan, your inspiration.